everyone, this is Bonnie from Backward Story, and this is everything that I got at day 2 of the Book Expo 2017. So there's a ton of stuff, and I think that I'm going to do the bags in a separate post just because some of them are really cute, and I don't want this video to be too terribly crazy long because it's already going to be long. I can tell the one from the day 1 was 17 minutes and I didn't have nearly as much stuff. So I'm going to put that in a separate post and maybe go back with the bags from the first day for anyone who didn't see those but sees that post. Anyway, let's get started before this gets any longer. Okay, we're going to start with swag because there was some really cool swag. One is this unicorn horn. And it came with this unicorn bag, believe, for Uni the Unicorn. I know I said I wouldn't show bags, but since they go together, this is a really cool coloring book. It actually came from the BookCon, but I'm sure they were there for BEA too. This is the Sword of Springtime, and one of the Disney animators was doing illustrations for it, and we just thought it looked really cool. The book is gorgeous. It's trying to get a major distributor right now, so I can't wait to see what the finished copy of that looks like. Next is a lithograph for Libba Braves Before the Devil Breaks You, which is a sequel to The Diviners, and it's coming out in October, and like up close, it's a sample from the new book. I love when words make art like that. I've got a couple of postcards here from Interlude Press, Not Your Villain, which is the sequel to Not Your Hero, and The Seafarer's Kiss. 2 books that I very much was anticipating. A sampler for the new School for Good and Evil book by Somin Shinani, which I cannot wait for it to come out because I adored the first 3 books so much. And then some buttons. Curiosity House here is from Lauren Oliver. It is Knife Thrower, and I don't know if that's the name of the 3rd one. I feel like all 3 are out. That might be a 4th one coming now. I thought it was a trilogy. Either way, it's one of the books in the Curiosity House by Lauren Oliver, which is her kids series that she is co-writing. And all 4 of these pins came from Dramatically Ever After when I went to the booth to get it signed. And there are these really cute, whoops, there are these really cute chibi pins. I kind of think this one's my favorite because of the bow and the dressing up and everything. But yeah, so cute pins. I picked up the first issue of 3 comics. I've heard a lot about The Wicked and the Divine as well as Saga. My friend Alex, who stayed with me this week, read both of them and has nothing but good things to say about them. I'm never sure, I don't read a lot of comics. I probably should read more, but I figured it's the first issue. I'm going to check it out. We also picked up Another Castle, which none of us had heard of before, but the cover was really intriguing and it looked very fantasy. So these are the 3 comics that I picked up this week that are all first issues. And in the evening, I went to a great event with Fierce Reads, and they gave me this bag that says, "My favorite author said to me," and you can fill in the quotes if you want, which is pretty cool. And then a postcard for The Lovely Reckless by Cami Garcia, which is getting a brand new cover. And they also threw in some nail polish, which you know I love my nail polish, and this is a great summer color. And then they also threw in Berserker by Emmy Laybourne, which one of my friends borrowed to take a look at, and she had to read that right away. So it's not here right now, but that was in there too. The Language of Thorns sampler by Lee Bardugo, which you saw in the video from day 1. So this is my 2nd copy, so I will have to share this one. Moxie by Jennifer Matthew, which I don't know much about this. I know that one of my friends has been really excited to get it at BEA. It also came with a postcard. The Love Interest is by Cale Dietrich. It is now in hardcover, and they brought him here from Australia to see us. And I have an ARC of this somewhere that I hadn't had a chance to get to yet, and somebody was telling me about how amazing it was, and so it definitely went way up on my list. At first I wasn't sure because I haven't been in the mood for like a love triangle type book, but now I really want to read it again. And the most exciting thing that was in this bag was, whoa, it's really shiny right here. It was from Tomi Adiyami, and it is called Children of Blood and Bone. It doesn't come out until March of next year, but you can already see how gorgeous the cover is going to be. This might not even be the final cover. It might be like a teaser while they're making it still. But this was a book that got a lot of attention when it came out. It is going to be a high fantasy. It's diverse. It made a major deal, got a lot of money, and I've been eager to read it ever since I found out about it, and I'm really excited that they threw a sample of that in there to get us all excited. Okay, so next I have 3 piles. The pile on the left is my pile from the end of the day. I went to this speed date with a Publicist thing where the publicists came from table to table, and they had 8 minutes to tell them about some of the books on their roster, and then we were able to take the books back with us. And they had some of the books there, and some of them they only had 1 or 2 copies, and so any of the books we're interested in that we weren't able to get a hold of, we can reach out to the publicists and get them. So there will be more coming soon, hopefully, that I can share with you at another time. But this first pile is from that. The second pile is just what I picked up as galley drops. There might be 1 or 2 books that were actually from day 1. This is why I like to do my videos at the hotel. But I was so tired the last 2 nights that I just couldn't do it. So now I'm at home and trying to remember what everything is. I'm sorry if I'm slightly wrong here. And then this is everything that I got signed yesterday, or on Friday rather. But so I was able to do a few signings before my panel, which was from like 2 to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so it didn't give me as much leeway for the second half of the day, but I still got a ton of stuff. And seriously, after that panel, I wouldn't have been able to walk around because it was so heavy. There are like 15, 16 books there, and it was absolutely insane. So let's take a look at everything. Okay, we're going to start with the signed books because I'm just so excited about them. The first book is The Magic Misfits by Neil Patrick Harris, and this one, I had gotten a ticket first thing in the morning because I had gone in line to get a ticket for Jan Brett signing, and he was signing from 3:30 to 4:30, and I was at my panel until 3:50, and I was like, probably won't be able to get over there. It'll be super crazy. I got out of the panel. I had actually forgotten that the signing was going on, so I was there for a little while, going from table to table to see what other books were left over, and one of my friends texted me and said that she was going to be ready to leave after the Neil Patrick Harris signing. I said, wow, that's got to be pretty crazy. And she said the line was moving fast. It actually wasn't a long line. So I decided, even though it was so heavy and I was done, I was going to haul it all the way from the lower level where the panels were upstairs to the back of the venue to go to the autographing area. And it was totally worth it because I got to meet Neil Patrick Harris. And here is a quick picture. And it was just super, super cool. This is what his signature looks like, guys. It's super cute. I love the way the P goes over everything. And there's a little dot there. He was so nice, and I'm just so happy that I had a chance to do that when I didn't think I would. Definitely probably the biggest highlight of BEA for me, meeting Neil Patrick Harris, because I adore him. I've seen him on Broadway. I love him. So, yeah. Next up is a picture book for my niece. It's called Hey Mom, Can I Be Big? And it is by Carrie Pointer and illustrated by Hazel Quintanilla. And it's something that, like, my niece kind of says a lot. Not quite like that, but she is very big and she's going to be bigger. And we always tease her about staying little because she's growing way too fast. And she'll be like, no, I want to be big. And then other days she wants to be little. So it just sounded like something she would say. So I got that for her, and it's actually pretty cute. I just happened to see it on my way to the Jan Brett signing, and there wasn't a long line. And I was like, you know what? I have time. I can get in this line. So I did. And from there, of course, I went to the Jan Brett signing for The Mermaid, which I didn't realize. There was this paper that came with the book, and it was talking about Okinawa and how that inspired her. And I thought this was going to be like a Little Mermaid retelling because I had seen the bag. They were giving out these gorgeous tote bags the first day, and I got one like right when they dropped at 9 in the morning, and the art was so pretty, and it made me really interested in the book. Like, I'd heard about it, but you know, I don't read a lot of picture books, but I read some, and it was like, okay, I definitely want to check this out when it's out. And we actually wound up getting a second bag with the book because we are in an autographing line, so I have 2 of these now. But yeah, so when I didn't need to get in line to see Marie Lu for Warcross anymore because they galley dropped it the day before, I decided to get a ticket to meet Jan Brett. And this is not a Little Mermaid retelling like I thought. It's actually a retelling of Goldilocks and the 3 Bears. And it is like the mermaid and the 3 octopuses, which we debated about if it was octopuses or octopi when we were looking at it, but she uses the word octopuses in the book. So in this book, at least, it's octopuses, and I thought that was so cool. Plus, there's like this picture of sand that's star-shaped from Okinawa, and because the inspiration was Japanese for her, the book takes place in Japanese waters, and the main character of the mermaid is Japanese, and I thought that was really cool because I've lived in Japan, and it just needed a little more like extra to me, like a little more meaningful, I guess. But it was really cool. She wasn't personalizing books so that she could get through the line faster, but she put the date and she drew a seashell, which was really cool. And I cannot wait to share this book and the art with you because it was just really, really fun, and I'm really glad I stood in line for it. After that, I kind of booked it to Marika Nietzschkamp's signing because I didn't know how much time I would have after Jan Brett, but I was very high up in line there. Like, I made sure to get there early so that I could get here before her line got crazy, because I had a feeling it would be bad because she wrote This Is Where It Ends, which has been on the New York Times for several weeks, and it was amazing, and it still hits a lot of lists, and I really wanted to read her new book before I let go because I loved This Is Where It Ends so much, and so I was lucky enough to meet her, get the book signed, and tell her how much I love her once again. After that, I went to the Spencer Hill booth because they were having a launch party at 12:30 for Dramatically Ever After by Isabel Bandera, which just came out. It came out a couple weeks earlier than it was going to. They moved the date up, and they had this delicious cake. Here's a picture of it, and it had cookie dough filling on the inside with bits of cookie dough, and it was the most amazing thing. It had like little chocolate chips and stuff in it. It was delicious. And then at 1 o'clock, they had her signing. And I was able to pick up the first book at the launch party, and then the second, well, I actually picked up both of them there, so I didn't need to get a copy at the signing booth for Dramatically Ever After because that was the book they were signing, and I just brought the 2 over. And I also picked up these pins at the signing. So everything got signed all at once, which was really cool. The author is like semi-local, and we've talked online, and I've always wanted to meet her in person, and I was excited that it finally happened. So that was definitely a highlight for me. This was the last book of the day that I got signed. It was Shadow Weaver by Marcy Kate Connolly, and she is with a new publisher now, but her cover art is just as gorgeous as always. I really love it. It's always really creepy and really fantasy at the same time, and I figured that I should have enough time to get it before I had to go to my panel. They wanted us to start lining up around 1:40, and then they didn't even let us in until almost 2 anyway, so I could have hung out a little longer, but oh well. And I was like 5th in line for this, so it wasn't a big deal anyway, but I was really excited that I did stop to get it because I would have had time, and I did have time. So, but the one book I forgot to show you was from earlier in the day. It was probably the first book that I picked up today that was signed. It's Hide From Me by Mary Lindsay. I'm not usually one for paranormal, but I like Mary Lindsay. I have read her before. We talk online, and she had reached out to me to let me know that she was going to be signing at BEA, and I really wanted to try to see her and say hi, and I was glad that I had a chance to do that. And this was a book I got for free in the evening at Books of Wonder, because if you spent $85, you got a free book off the shelf. And Mandy was buying a bunch of books, and I was buying the new Megan Whalen Turner book, and so we decided to combine it because she just needed $5 more to get the free item. And this is a book I had heard about a couple of BEAs ago, and I'd been wanting to read it, and she didn't really want it, so I got a book out of that, which was pretty cool. Okay, so now we're going to start with the galley drops that I picked up at the venue on Friday. The first thing was Neil Patrick Harris. They were doing something for the Magic Misfits, and it came with this really cool box. When the book is available in November, And it says, this contains real magic, and do you believe in magic? And it's just this really fun, really cute box. It has this sticker on it. And it came with a tarot card, Joker. And then, of course, in the box, it came with the book. And as you saw earlier, I got the book autographed later in the day, so I have 2 copies. So I gave the other copy to Mandy. So this is actually the copy from later in the day, but, you know, it did come with it, so... There was also this really cool bag at the time. It says, I've got a few tricks up my sleeve and in this bag. And then it has, on the other side, the logo. And at the same time they were dropping that, Little Brown was also dropping The Wizards of Once, which is a new book by Cressida Cowell, who wrote How to Train Your Dragon, which was turned into a movie. And this is the box. It says The Spelling Book, a complete guide to the entire magical world. And you open it, and it is a map, which is the coolest thing. Like, it's just a gorgeous box. And then it has a feather as a bookmark. And it came with this. So it was just a really cool package. I can't wait to see the final cover. I wonder almost if this is the final cover and that's why they put it in there. It'll be interesting to find out. Next up is Life is Like a Musical by Tim Federle, which is how to live, love, and lead like a star. And this is being blurbed as don't sweat the small stuff with jazz hands. And I love myself a good musical, so of course I had to pick this one up. Lucky in Love by Casey West. I actually read an e-arc of this like right before I went to BEA, and then I found out that Owl Crate and Scholastic teamed up and we're going to drop this at the Owl Crate booth, and so I picked it up because the physical copy is so cute to look at, and this scene actually is from the book, which sometimes, you know, books don't have scenes that are really from them, but that carousel plays a really cute part, and the back cover is super cute, and I'm really excited because I love Casey West. I'm just so excited to take a look at how this was packaged together. The Life She Was Given by Ellen Marie Wiseman. I feel like I saw this somewhere either online or in one of the galley things. I was like, oh, that looks interesting, but it's not a super priority for me. And then I walked by it as they were passing it out, and since it has a circus tent on the cover, I didn't even remember what it was about, but I was like, okay, I want that. Fireblood by Ellie Blake. I have not read Frostblood yet. I had read the summary and I was like, I don't know, do I, don't I? I've been hearing really good things about it, but I just wasn't sure. But it's elemental magic, so I know I'm going to be reading this at some point, so I picked it up while I could, and now I just have to get my hands on a copy of the first book. Release by Patrick Ness. This book has the craziest cover. Like, if you look at it right side up, he is like hanging upside down from a railroad track, or if you go this way, he's like cartwheeling on it, and it is the craziest cover, and it's Patrick Ness, so I don't really know what it's about, but it sounded interesting when I read the back at the hotel, and I picked it up based on him alone. This is another book I picked up on Author Alone. Francisco X. Stork, who wrote Marcello in the Real World, has a new book out called Disappeared, and I picked it up on the Author Alone because I want to read it. This is the third one I picked up for that same reason, and I cannot remember if I picked it up Thursday or Friday. I want to say Friday. I could be wrong about that, so I'm sorry if you see it twice. It's Tool of War by Paolo Bacigalupi, and I probably butchered his name, which I think it's actually the third book in the Shipbreaker series, but I think they might be standalone companions, but don't quote me on that. I'm not sure. I haven't read the other two, but I hear really good things about him, so I picked that up. The Dark Lake by Sarah Bailey. This is a book that was blurbed by Douglas Preston on the cover, and when you turn it over, it says it's a suspense thriller that rivals Paula Hawkins and Tanya French, and so I picked it up on that alone. The Heart's Invisible Furies by John Boyne. He wrote The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. And again, I'm pretty sure this was a Friday pickup, but it could have been Thursday. This is his first adult novel. It is not teen, unlike his other two books, but is still historical, and it sounded really interesting when the publicists were telling me about it, and I was like, yeah, I want to read that. This is Clicked by Tamara Ireland Stone. I have her book Every Last Word, so I picked it up on that alone because I knew that this was going to be an interesting read, and so I picked it up. And I think this is the final book I picked up Friday. I guess I could have some in the other pile that, again, I messed up. Sorry if so. This is Nevermore, The Trials of Morgan Crow. It is by Jessica Townsend. And I think they were dropping this at Little Brown the same time they were dropping the 2 boxes. So I picked it up because the cover is so cute. Okay, I'm just going to go over the panel books really fast because I don't remember what most of them are about. And I know this video is running long. They talked about Hidden Sea by Gregory Maguire, which is a retelling of the Nutcracker, and he had previously wrote Wicked, which was turned into a musical. Malagash by Joey Camus, which I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe it's dystopian, and it's funny because the book before that, with a different publisher, we were talking about how we need more adult dystopian, and that was this book, which is called The End We Start From. It's by Megan Hunter, and the cover is ridiculously gorgeous. Plus, it was blurred by Emily St. John Mandel, who wrote Station 11, which was fantastic. Start Without Me by Joshua Max Feldman, which is a rom-com. The Salt Line by Holly Goddard Jones, which is another dystopian for adults. And oh my god, I cannot read this until like the winter, like November, December or something, because it's about ticks and the way the world changes because of a tick virus. And it is summer right now, and there are ticks in the area, and I know that I will be crawling if I go outside right now after reading this. So I just can't do it for a while. South Pole Station by Ashley Shelby. This had a really cool cover, so I grabbed it off a table afterwards because not every publicist went to every table, and they ran out of time. But afterwards, whatever the people that were talked to didn't want, you could grab from the other tables. So the cover looked cute, picked it up. This is probably going to be a pretty big deal this fall. It is Caroline, Little House Revisited by Sarah Miller. It is about the youngest sister of Laura Ingalls Wilder, and it is her story. If the Creek Don't Rise by Leah Wise, also from another table. Quiet Until the Thaw by Alexandra Fuller. I had read the summary about this, and I wasn't sure because it's not own voices. It's about Native American history, but the publisher said that they did a lot of research on it, and that a lot of people who were Native American read it and really thought that it was well done. So I took it. I'm still going to wait until I see what other people think about it before I read it, but it sounds like it might be a job very well done, so I did take it. Something Like Happy by Eva Woods. The cover's super cute. I love the font. I love this T. I love this G and the way it's swooping. The H, also from another table, but it's super cute looking. Quicksand by Melin Persson Giolito. It's the best Swedish crime novel of the year. It's in hardcover. They said it was selling really well. I've not heard of it, but I wanted to look into it because I do want to read more adult books this year. So I'm glad that I got a lot this week at BEA. Another adult book, Days Without... Well, everything from the panel was adult, so I guess I shouldn't say that. But Days Without End by Sebastian Barry. He was shortlisted for the Man Booker Prize for his last book, Their Secret Scripture and a Long, Long Way. International bestseller, The Loving Husband by Christabel Kent. Tanya French's The Trespasser. And finally, Zadie Smith's Swing Time. So that is everything I picked up on the panel. Like I said, I will be getting more at some point in the mail that I didn't pick up there. But it was a lot, and I'm glad because I do want to read more adult this year. A lot of thrillers, a lot of dystopian. It's a nice mix of stuff. But that is everything from the second day of BEA. Thank you so much for hanging in there for so long listening to me talk. And I'll talk to you again soon because I have so many videos from this week that I'm going to be putting up. See you guys soon. Bye.